Welcome to Sunday with a Sinner with me, Royal Demon, and today I'm gonna talk a bit about driving. I know it's like, what's to talk about driving? Well, I have to confess something. As a kid, I was terrified of driving, Well, not being in a car, don't get me wrong, but if I had to drive, see, I had like I still have a father who always found it very amusing to let me drive. He would take his hands off the wheels and then I suddenly had to drive. Now I know that's fucking insane, but yeah, that's what my father would sometimes do, and I was terrified of that. Then he was like, you have to learn it, and I'm like, I don't want to learn it. I'm 7 years old, asshole. But so yeah, that really put me in a position that I was like, really, I don't like driving because I almost got like a trauma with it because of that. Now, of course, everything turned out fine, and eventually I did learn to drive myself. I think I was 19, so yeah, in this country, in the Netherlands, you learn to drive, or you're allowed to learn to drive when you're almost 18 or 18. That's technically as fast as you can learn. You can't learn or start at 16. That's not allowed in this country. So yeah, and I was 18, and I took a little bit longer with it because, well, I was nervous. But eventually I got actually more comfortable with it, which was very interesting. And I kind of wonder, like, am I the only one who had issues with that? Now, to be honest, I did have my reasons for that because of things to my father with that bullshit. Because, honestly to God, letting your kid drive suddenly out of nowhere, like, okay, now you have to drive. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I mean, some kids might have loved that. I was not one of those kids, and especially not if he didn't warn me for it. He just fucking put his hands off the wheel. Now, before you think that my father is insane, no, I would like to add to it, it was never like on the freeway, like in mid-traffic. It was always on a deserted road, like if we were driving like out in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like I would really be able to crash the car, but it was just like, it was scary for me as a kid. And, unpleasant that I suddenly had to do that. But, it did help me a bit, in a way. So, one of the things I really like about driving now is like the freedom you have. Like, you can do whatever you like. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. You can't do everything you like, but you do have some freedom. And I know that on a motorcycle you even have more of that freedom, or at least a feeling of more freedom. I know I had something similar like that on my scooter. I mean, sure, a scooter doesn't go as fast as a motorcycle, but it's still pretty cool. It's like, like a, let's say you do like an audition for something. I mean, it's not as cool, but it's still cool. And I really enjoyed it, and I really learned to enjoy driving. Something I never thought I would as a kid, and that's cool because I don't know about you, but driving, it's a bit weird at first. I mean, you're sitting in this big machine and suddenly you have to control it. I'm like, what the hell? As a kid, I could just not understand, how do people do this? But once you learn how it all works, it's like, oh wait, this is actually not that difficult. And eventually I'm actually like, hey, I actually like this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never been a big fan of driving, but at this point, I'm like, yeah, I don't mind to drive. It's not like as a kid that I was really like, I never want to learn to drive. That's how I technically was. So it was also like a personal victory for me to get my driver's license. So that's also something that kind of counted for me. Like, I wanted to conquer this, fear, you could almost say. And I really must admit that even though driving seems simple, it's of course not as simple as you might think, because you do have to learn the rules, you do have to learn how the car works and all that, because it's not just fucking pushing pedals and keeping your hands on the wheel. No, there's some more that comes down to that, and it's easy to fuck that up. as you can see, I'm playing Dying Light, the following DLC, and it's really like a cool place to drive around in. Like, I like GTA 5 is also fun, and games like the following DLC here for Dying Light, this is really fun. And not just that because you can plow through fucking zombies with your car, but it's also just, you know, the freedom of the openness here. And from first-person perspective, it's pretty cool. It's typical for me to crash the car in an open area, but it's really cool. I have to admit that cars are cool. I've never really been a car person, but I can't deny the fact that cars are cool. I do like them. And they definitely have their uses. I mean, why fucking walk if you can drive? Then again, it's also nice to walk sometimes, so I'll be honest about that as well. It's not like, oh, I always need to drive. No. But anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about a little bit, about driving cars and all that. It seems so simple and natural, and, well, natural, but something so insignificant technically, like, oh, you're driving a car, so what? But it's actually pretty cool, and I'd say it's still impressive that you can drive a car. It's not like everyone can do it, because even though some people might say that you can, I don't think every person can, at least not as good as they might like. I mean, I think every person might be able to learn it up to a certain point. I mean, maybe some people just are just better that they don't drive cars, but it is something that comes with a lot of responsibility when you drive cars. And I think that's something a lot of people seem to forget. When you're behind the wheel, they're like, oh, I had some alcohol, so, but that doesn't matter. I think I can still drive. Yeah, that's not good. That makes you a fucking idiot. And yeah, I don't like that at all when people do that. That's just stupid. Technically, what I'm doing here, like driving around in circles, it's also pretty stupid. But at least I'm not really hurting anyone. Well, okay, I might be hurting these zombies. But anyway, that's the video for today. I hope it was a little bit interesting. You learned a little bit about me. Maybe, well, did I learn something about you? Well, probably not. But that's okay. I don't think, well, you might be able, if you want to, you can tell me about your driver's experience or your history with driving. Feel free to do so. If you don't, I won't hold it against you. It might not always be that interesting, but, you know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in another video. Bye-bye. And stay safe on the road.